Hey guys, it's Vismal here for New What If. What if Deku had the Stones of Powers slash Rings of Powers? Now before we start, there are going to be some spoilers for Kid Cosmic, so I suggest watching the show first. There are only like 10 episodes and each are like 20 minutes long, so that's like 4 hours. But now that I warn you, I'm going to be answering some questions that you're probably going to have. First, 1. There is going to be aliens in it for Kid Cosmic. Keep on saying Cosmic Kid, I mean Kid Cosmic. But there are going to be no government organizations, so the Earth Defense Force, forgot their name already, they're not going to be here. Also, it's mentioned that at the end of the first season, there are actually 13 Stones of Powers. I'm not sure if Deku's going to get those. I'm not sure if they're even going to get that in the actual show. Not important. Also, knowing people, there's also going to be a Fem Todoroki and ex Deku ship. Because I like the idea of Deku being in a relationship with Todoroki and knowing that if they ever have kids, and they most likely will not see them ever. But, shoot, I also forgot to mention something. Sorry guys, the reason why I was laughing was because earlier, Turner got a possibility, he was like getting really mad at me because he doesn't like Todoroki ex Deku. I don't know why, he hates gay ships. He's a weirdo. Let's start the what if already. Okay, so just like an original story, this is gonna be made fun of, and by Kachan because he's a huge racist prick. And because let's be honest, making fun of a huge group of people who are different because of genetics or look different makes you racist. But like I was saying, everything is the same, even up to the moment Deku runs in and tries to save Kachan from the such villain. But after a few seconds of being scolded by the heroes, and Kachan being praised, Deku, instead of walking home, and with Kachan telling him he didn't need his help, Deku decides to run away because the heroes were scolding him. But he sees the forest that him and Kachan used to play when they were younger, where they had the entire scene where Deku offered his hand to Kachan, and Kachan saw it as him looking down on him, because Kachan is a sociopath. But as he walks into the forest, what he doesn't know, that above him, there is some sort of weird spaceship that's being followed by an army of spaceships shooting at it. Then a pilot grabs the purple stone and creates a portal. As he enters the portal, all the enemy ships get left behind, except for one, which barely makes it through. But as the ship leaves, it starts flying to Earth. But as Deku is running through the forest, he trips on a branch. As he tries to get up, sees some sort of shooting star. But then the star starts getting lower. And before he even knows it ends up crashing into the ground near him. Then Deku says, "What was that? Some sort of metal rock or satellite?" But as Deku starts getting closer, he says, "That is a freaking spaceship!" But it kind of looks like a delivery truck. But as he gets close, he actually enters it. Can't speak, sorry. And after climbing a ladder, he enters his cockpit. We're looking around. He sees blood, or something similar to blood. That's when he notices the injured alien. Then the alien looks at Deku and tries to get up, but ends up falling and dropping 6 stones. And Deku tries to help him up, because he's a hero. And he says, "Dang it, I was supposed to deliver them." And Deku says, "What are they?" And he says, "They are the Stone of Powers. Now that each stone gives to the user a special power. But now a villain or monster is going to come after them. And we'll most likely destroy everything in our path." And then the alien just dies. With that, let's say the spaceship turns to dust after death, so there's no body. But as the alien turns to dust, Deku turns around to see 6 stones just stop. And they're glowing, but they soon stop glowing. But as Deku grabs the stones, he has himself. These are some sort of Stones of Powers. But as he grabs them, the red stone starts to glow, and Deku gains a third eye. And this third eye is showing him the future. In this future, Deku sees an alien ship crashing, chasing him, and him dodging some sort of lasers, him flying a spaceship, then a girl with red and white hair, and a grape getting beat up by a bunch of girls. So Deku starts freaking out and ends up tripping and dropping the red stone. So as Deku gets back, he puts a tissue on a stone. Deku says, "The stone just showed him a future, but more importantly, what was that? An alien spaceship invasion? A perverted grape? A girl?" As Deku looks at the stone, he remembers what the alien says. The people are coming here, and they're going to destroy everything just to get these stones. Then Deku remembers how the guy says these stones give him powers. Each one is very powerful. Deku thinks to himself, maybe with these stones can help him stop those evil aliens. Maybe even go to UA, become a hero. So Deku goes home and hides the stones after thinking over like an hour, trying to figure out what to do. Next day, he finds that her son hasn't slept all night. Deku's just looking at the stones, trying to figure out what they're made of. But as Denko screams at him, he ends up dropping a stone. But as he picks it up, he realizes maybe he should make it so it's harder to drop. So Deku comes up with an idea, and after going to a craft store, he turns each of the stones into some rings. What I meant to say. Next day, Deku decides to go back to the spaceship to crash into a mountain. After hiding the ship with some plants and tarps, he starts messing around with the ring. And first, he starts off trying to learn how to use powers, or learn how to use the redstone, be more specific. But he has no idea how it works. But then Deku thinks of past heroes he's seen and tries to copy their moves. So we now have a montage of Deku copying hero moves. He then tries to throw a punch saying, "Smash!" Says that I don't think I have super strength. Then says, "Hell Flame." I don't have pyrokinesis. Then says, "Rapid manipulation." Because I don't know what Genius has. But nothing happens. So he starts getting upset. Then says, maybe it's mental powers, like super intelligence or telekinesis. So Deku starts thinking, he sees a birdie, then says, "Translate!" But nothing happens, so Deku thinks, I have no translation. Then he says, come to me. The bird flies away, and Deku says, so mind control's out of the equation. But as he sees a bird fly, Deku gets an idea. He tries to fly, but it's not working. So Deku thinks to himself, maybe he needs to concentrate. So he starts breathing and thinking about flying. And when he opens his eyes, he sees that he's in air. So he starts freaking out. He starts falling. He starts realizing he's going to hit the ground. But right before he hits the ground, he stops. And as he looks around and sighs the relief, he starts flying forward and barely touches the tree. Then the red ring glows and Deku sees a vision. So Deku starts to dodge rocks and trees before flying up and stopping, because the visions warned him of what the stuff he was going to hit. But as he looks around, he sees that he's really high. But more importantly, he's glowing green. He thinks the green stone or green ring must be flight or something. But then Deku hears a plane and barely dodges it. But as Deku finally lands or crashes, he thinks to himself, so the green is flight, let's see what else they can do. But as Deku starts meditating, he thinks to himself that he needs to figure out what else these rings/stones can do. As he's meditating, he thinks to himself, if only he had some sort of help, like a teacher or a friend to help him. And he hears, ouch! That's when Deku sees another Deku holding his side, and it seems to be scratched from a tree branch. But as they see each other, they both start screaming, but as Deku screams, he says that he's holding another Deku. After a minute of three Deku screaming at each other, they stop and realize that there are three of them. And Deku too realizes that this may be the power of the stones. That's when Deku 3 says, but which ring is it? Then he thinks to himself, And then he sees the yellow ring glow before another clone is made. That's when Deku 4 says, so we can duplicate ourselves, huh? And says that they can change side our battles to sheer power or tactics. As they all start mumbling to each other, they have an idea. How many can he make? So he then cut to 10 minutes later, with Deku 85 saying, he thinks that there's no limit. But Deku 54 says, but there has to be a limit, no quirk is this powerful. But Deku 12, 75, and 96 say that this isn't a quirk, it's a magical ring. But Deku 9 says, we don't know about magic, for all we know they could have been made by science stuff. Deku 3 is getting annoyed, but then he trips, and a bunch of Dekus check on him. But as he do, a couple of Dekus fall, and instead of falling a couple feet, they fall down a hill/mountain, and then land on a rock before disappearing. Then another Deku falls and lands on a rock, and another one falls on a tree branch, getting impaled and ends up dying and disappearing. That's when all the Dekus start mumbling. After a couple of hours, realize that the clone dies, they just disappear. That's when the clone says, what happened? Says, wait, what happened? wait, isn't that dangerous? Or what happens if they take the ring off? That's when the original takes the ring off. And all the clones disappear. That's when Deku says, so that happens. Then Deku thinks of an idea. He gets a bunch of clones and says, okay, Deku, let's work together. We figure out what the other 2 rings can do. Well, what can the other rings do? He then says, okay, we need to work together, our clones. But as he's saying this, a clone starts growing. That's when stomps a bunch of other clones. He says, okay, the blue one can make you grow. Deku says, okay, that's good to know. Try to work that out. Figure out if there's any special thing about it. Now we need to find out what the final stone can do. But then, out of nowhere, if 4 portals appear, and each one has a head sticking out. That's when the Deku say, that's when Deku says, how are you learning this so quick? That's when all 4 says, yeah, it gets easier with practice, apparently. But then a red ring glows, and they all gain a 3rd eye. That's when they all say, that's not good. Then a spaceship lands and blows some Dekus away. But as most of the Dekus get blown away, the few who survive, they see an alien with a massive red head and like a fence on his side. Or something on his head. But then the Deku gets up and says, no chance you come in peace. But then he just gets shot and turns to dust. That's when he says, oh, that isn't good. But the alien starts shooting. Some of them duck and says, we're the original. But then Deku 5 says that he got him but he's knocked out. Then somebody says, I got this. They didn't see Deku 7 grow with the blue ring and stomp the ship, but misses the aliens. But the alien is running. He realizes that his path is getting blocked by flying Dekus and Deku clones. But he's reading his blaster. He feels stomping, so he starts running. And he runs into the destroyed ship. But as he runs into the destroyed ship and closes it, a portal is created, and that's when Deku walks in and says, let's see what I can do. Then creates a portal and appears behind the alien. But as he punches him, the alien is barely phased. That's when Deku says, maybe I should work out. But as the alien tries to shoot him, Deku creates a portal and dodges. But he's dodging using his portals. Deku creates a portal that ends up underneath the ship. But as the alien tries to jump to the portal, Deku closes it, and he realizes that the top half is gone. But the legs seem to be stuck, and the legs are moving. But as Deku gets out from underneath the ship, he sees the alien is stuck in a floor with some sort of... like he's just stuck in a floor, while some of the clones are holding his hands and his gun. That's when the clone says, okay, find some rope. That's when Deku 5 and 9 look through some crates and are throwing stuff away. One throws away a pole, another one throws away some sort of med kit, one throws away a crate. Then one of them says, I found some rope, and then ties up the alien. That's when Deku 10 says, now what? Deku 6 says, if we take him to the police, they're gonna realize he's not human. People might come and take the stones from us. And Deku 17 says, but this is our chance to become heroes. But the alien is screaming in his language. Somebody says that if only he can understand what he's saying. So when the alien sighs and starts darting his eyes to the speaker on his collar. That's when somebody says, what is that? But he presses it. He hears that he sounds different. That's when Deku 17 says, that's French. But they start pressing the button. The alien starts speaking Spanish, English, Canadian. But then he starts speaking Japanese. And then that's when he says, oh, the translator. But the alien cop, he says, finally, now give me the stones in the name of the great leader. But then the clone says, dude, you're surrounded by an army of clones. And you're missing the bottom part of your body. Seriously, Chuck, you won't win. That's when Deku 13 says, wait, why did you name him Chuck? That's when he says, well, if we have so many brains, we might as well think of his name. But Deku 9 says, why Chuck though? That's when he says, because he's stuck Chuck. And most of the Dekus later are just face pumping. That's just such a stupid pun. Deku says, hey, I'm you guys. That is to say, that's still a stupid pun. But then Chuck says, you are all idiots. Deku says, we're smarter than you. He says, now tell us about this great leader. And Chuck says that once he comes, he will collect all the stones and destroy your strongest warriors and destroy your planet. That's when the Dekus laugh. Says that he doubts that the great leader can defeat All Might or Miracle or Endeavor. That's when the alien says, how is a couple puny humans defeat an army? That's when Deku says, puny humans? What are you talking about? That's when he says, oh, come on, the best you humans have done is some sort of airplanes made out of paper, like 6 wings. That's when Deku says, like, that was 2 centuries ago, dude. Then Chuck says, so? That's when Deku says, dude, look at humans nowadays. Just like, oh, and Chuck says, oh, dang, you guys got buff. And why does this human have a small ball-like tail? And why is it zoomed on her rear? Deku says, hey, that's not important. Also, he tells the clone, remind me to delete my history. That's not important. What is important is that people like Omai would defend the Earth from any aliens. Even if they haven't seen any aliens before, and you're the first one. It doesn't matter, because he's a hero. But as Deku says this, he hears a call. That's when Deku answers and says, who's this? Then his mom starts screaming at him, saying, where are you? Why aren't you home yet? Don't you know how late it is? Deku says, I'm sorry, Mom. But he hangs up. A clone says, wait, what about stuck Chuck? And another clone says, Chuck. Or alien or something. Deku says, few clones will stay here while he goes home. And their couple moan, saying, oh, we want to go sleep though. They finally agreed that the original should go home. But as he goes home, he thinks to himself, the first the frogs and now aliens? I didn't expect this to happen so quick. But when Deku goes home, a clone is talking to Chuck and is like interrogating him. But then clone realizes something. He asks, how did they find him so easy? But Chuck says, you can't be serious, there are hundreds of people who come after for the stones. And the clone says, so, okay. That's what the pilot told them. But Chuck looks at Deku. He asks, how are you alive? That's when he asks, what do you mean? And when Chuck says, it shouldn't be possible to wield all 5 stones. But Deku says, it wasn't hard. As the clone thinks about using all 5 stones at once, all the powers start activating. Deku starts growing, floating, copying himself, creating portals, and has a third eye appear. But instead of future vision, he sees something else. He sees his childhood. Caution beating him up, him being made fun of because he's quirkless by everybody. But as Deku stops, another clone helps him. And the clones ask, what did you do to him? But Chuck says, he didn't do anything. He has been using the powers all at once, he couldn't be able to handle it. And then Deku asks, that's when Deku asks the clone, or clone Deku asks the clone Deku. There's a bunch of clones, I don't know. Asks, what did he see? And Deku says, or Deku 7 or something, says, he saw his childhood and caught him being a douche. Something else, he saw death. That's when clone asks, wait, what? Who died? He then says, he saw a man about to stab a blue-headed teenager about our age. Some blue-haired kid about to attack a girl wearing a green costume. Not to mention the blue-haired kid was wearing hands and looks like he has crusty skin. And Kochi getting stabbed by some sort of tendrils. That's when the clone says, what type of future is that? But Chuck says, that's probably his future. But guys, I'm going to end the video here. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and check out my Discord below. Before you leave, don't forget the words of Kid Cosmic, that a true hero doesn't hurt somebody, but instead extends their hand to help somebody.